Hello dearies, welcome to the Craft Kitchen. This is Tina with Frieda Friemel. I'm from Germany and this channel is mostly about junk journal stuff. I'm still working on my 3-spine tissue box journal. I made quite a while ago the cover, and yeah, I already assembled my signatures, but I haven't sewn them in yet because it's easier to work on the signatures if they're still loose, so not sewn into the journal. And yeah, at the moment I'm preparing some ephemera like these, and I noticed what I'm going to be doing today with these slide frames is perfect for taking part in Margreth from Sevenplaza and Toni from Crafty by Toni's challenge for this month, the ABC April 2025. Anyone can participate in this challenge. The only rule is you use the given letter of the alphabet for every day of the month, and you upload your video or your photos, maybe on Instagram, on the actual day of the letter. So today is letter C, and I noticed I'm collaging these slide frames. I show you in a minute. I'm working with Crackle paint, and also most of them are going to be charms. So we have 3 C's. So yeah, these slide frames, whenever my husband and I need a break, we just go to the Netherlands, find a thrift shop, or yeah, let's say in the Netherlands, the thrift shops are more of thrift hauls. I really like these. I mean, the Dutch really know how to do this. And the last time we went to the Netherlands for thrifting, I found this box. It says Het Heilige Land. I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly, because in German it would be Das Heilige Land. So yeah, quite similar, but the pronunciation is very different. And this box with 100 dia slides from Kodak comes from a hotel in Jerusalem, of course. And best thing, they are all made of cardboard. So I saw them and was like, wow, these are really easy to decorate. Yeah, let me get some white paper. Finding plain white paper in the craft kitchen is a challenge for itself already. So we have, I grabbed out some slide frames, some dia frames from Jerusalem, picked with pictures from Jerusalem, Masada, Bethlehem, and I also found Bethany in here. Hebron is also in here. So yeah, all the historical or biblic places, photographs of them. So for example, Jerusalem, the Damascus Gate. There, I have to find the correct light. So you have all these photos presented by Kodak. This is Masada itself. So the overview, more or less. Here is Bethlehem, Rachel's tomb, for example. So yeah, you do have these pictures, and of course I'm going to keep them, but I want to decorate the frames because every one of them says Original on Kodak. Yeah, no. So view from this side. I really like the numbers on here, but yeah, I just went on and decorated the whole frame, so I collaged it. And I also put eyelets in here. Not the best eyelets, but I'm going to show you how to prevent your fingers from getting ripped by these sharp edges. these originally sharp edges. I'm going to show you a trick for this. And I've been using, can't see this quite good. Oh yeah, on this one. I've been using also Crackle paint. No, I will have to figure out how to show you this later. The Distress Crackle Paint Translucent. I bought this specifically because it makes really, really fine crackles, and I think fine crackles for these really tiny photographs or deer pictures are the best solution, because I also have the Crackle paste. In this case it's opaque. You can also buy the Crackle paste in translucent form. Well, you could spread the paste very thinly on your project and you would get smaller cracks, but it's much easier to use the Crackle paint for these, yeah, actually very filigree cracks. So, first things first, I'm going to start decorating my frames. Maybe not 5, only 3. So I'm going to collage them, and for this I'm going to be using another C collage medium. In this case it's matte gel. This is originally used to thicken up your acrylic paint, to give it more body, so you can spread it on your canvas with a palette knife, for example. But this is also a great collage medium, and it is matte. I really, really like the fact that it's matte. I'm specifically using matte gel because when I have this here in the craft kitchen, I don't need another product, because I can thin this down with water and can just use it more or less like a more liquidish matte medium. So I'm going to be using the matte gel to collage on my cardboard frames. They are really, really great. And also I'm using this because when a bit of the collage medium touches the deer picture, it doesn't matter, because I will have to put a thin layer of my collage medium on the picture anyway, so the Crackle paint does actually stay on here. Yeah, I know it's matte gel, but this doesn't matter because I will have the matte deer picture afterwards, and when I put the Crackle paint on, it will be glossy again because the Crackle paint dries glossy. So, going to start decorating my 3 pictures. Okay, my desk is already full with stuff. So I grabbed, of course, I do have my slide frames here. Then I grabbed some leftover tiny pieces of paper and my finger daubers, because I don't think I'm going to be using the big ones for this. Yeah, maybe for the frames themselves. Some paper strips and also some washi tape, some homemade stickers, then labels from Tracy Fox, rather random mix labels, then labels from Days Gone By from Junkjournal Studio, this as well. These are just printed on paper. These are stickers. What else do I have here? Tiny tags, tabs, and miscellaneous. No. So I'm going to be using, of course, the labels, because I printed them, some of them, 4x4 size. So, yeah, I already have no space left, but somehow I'm going to manage this. Yeah, so luckily I already made those 3 frames. So I'm not going to be losing much time in making certain mistakes. For example, I've been using vintage photo distress oxide to ink around the cardboard frame here, but this is somehow coated, so it turned out really, really yellow, And let me show you when I'm using walnut stain for this. This gets, yeah, a bit darker, but not as dark as walnut stain would be. It's also more yellow. So I'd say it's sort of a coffee color, coffee dye color on here. You're missing really the green part in here. You have brown, you have gray, you have a bit of yellow. So yeah, I already tested it, and therefore I'm gonna be inking all my frames with walnut stain oxide, and then I'll be back. So, inked all around my cardboard frames, my slide frame, cardboard slide frames, you know what I mean. Wow, another C. The only thing you want to keep in mind when collaging your papers on here is if you use words on your collaging papers, just try to glue the paper on in the right direction so your photo is in the right direction. Otherwise, well, yeah, reading this sideways will do, of course, but head over just looks odd to me. I mean, you do you, of course. If you like this, do it. But I just wanted to remind you that you have a photo with a direction to work with in this case. Of course, you can also use these plastic frames, like these. In this case, you just take a sanding tool or a sanding block or just sandpaper to have a rougher surface. Then, of course, you could use this matte gel. This would stick on here, but you could also use, for example, double-sided tape to decorate the frames. But the important thing is that you need a rough surface. So on this shiny edge here or here, especially to the inside, neither double-sided tape nor the matte gel would stick well. Well, the matte gel, yeah, it would work, but you'd still have a chance that doesn't stick well. So, yeah. But I'm using these cardboard slide frames. Yay! So I'm going to be decorating all, yeah, 3 of them. You don't need to see me collaging these frames because I guess we all know how collaging works. Well, these, yeah, took me like forever because I'm still, yeah, thinking while collaging. Toni from Crafty by Toni, I'd say she is really the collage and most and foremost the cluster queen, Fun fact, when I pulled these boxes out, I remembered I was preparing them or taking them with me, this basket and this box and some more, on the exact day I got ill in January, because I was babysitting my little granddaughter. Yeah, and I haven't touched them since. Well, yeah, I touched them, of course, 2 days ago when I made these. But I really prepared these boxes to make clusters that evening, that sad evening. But still, I haven't cracked the cluster code. Toni's cluster code. So this will take me forever to pick out my papers because yeah, I'm using scraps. They are very, very different, and after watching some of Toni's videos I noticed she's making her own ephemera pieces to put them together. I guess this makes it way easier. But actually I want to use up these scraps because some of them are really beautiful. Like, for example, this one, the printed ruler. or measuring tape. Then I do have these scraps from printed postcards like this, and some book page scraps, so I don't want to waste them, and they are tiny. They are, I wouldn't say they are worth transforming them piece by piece into little ephemera. Well, of course they are worth it. Yes, I know, but this would be so much work, so yeah, I want to use them up like they are, hopefully. So maybe I'm going to manage this time to just collage my frames without thinking too much, and it won't take me like forever until I can show you how to use the Crackle paint on the photographs. So the decorating is done. I've collaged all of them and decorated them with some tiny labels and some stamps, and I also splattered some black acrylic paint and some golden watercolor paint on. And yeah, I've been using washi tapes and yeah, like I told you, stamps on here. So, and maybe as you can see on this one there, right here, I wasn't too careful with my matte gel when collaging the frames, and now I'm going to be using the same matte gel and a cotton swab, and this eyeshadow, yeah, this side has a brush, this side has the foam to put on some more matte gel. I'm simply not using a bigger brush for this because I don't have a glue brush that fine. You can only also use your fingers for this, of course. Yeah, I'm using this side of my eyeshadow foam brush, whatever, to reach my corners, like so. Using my finger just to get rid of some brush strokes, and because the deer picture in here can't reach the mat, I can do both sides at the same time, like so. I'm gonna need a bit more of this. So, and I need this matte gel to have a surface where my, where is it? Translucent Crackle paint can stick to and actually build the crackles. So yeah, putting on a thin layer here. So on all three of them, and I'm trying to reach actually the corners and the rim of my frame, the inner rim. So again, going a bit over with my finger. So now I let this dry. Shouldn't take that long. And then I'm going in with the Crackle paint. The matte medium is dry, so the collage matte medium is dry. I also added already my eyelets. So, and now I'm using my Crackle paint. Best thing to apply Crackle paint is actually a palette knife, but yeah, I guess you can tell I can't reach my dies with a palette knife here, so I'm going to be using this glue scraper, I guess is the word for this. I have no idea, and yes, you can see the Crackle paint is really yeah, runny, so more runny than paste, so it's like honey, I'd say. So, and yeah, I'm gonna be using my glue scraper to apply a more or less even and thin layer of Crackle paint, if I can, yes, manage this. And with this I also can reach the corners here, like so. And as you can tell, it's going to be shiny again when it's all dry. The reason I'm using a scraper, or I would be using a palette knife, is you don't get these brush strokes. So I don't want to have a thick layer on here. Usually you would say if you apply a thin layer, it will be fine cracks, and if you apply a thick layer, it will be more big cracks. But in this case, if you put on the medium too thick, the Crackle paint, it just will flake off. So I'm trying my best to just apply a thin layer. This is best reached with some sort of, yeah, scraper, palette knife, something like this. You could also use your finger for this, but then you would have, yeah, more or less marks like with paint strokes, right? So no big difference, I'd say. And yes, the Crackle paint is dissolving the medium the tiniest bit. As you can see, it's getting flaky here, there too. But that doesn't matter. That adds to the cracks. I forgot something. I already attached the eyelets here, and as you can see, the split socket of the eyelet, yeah, this happens to some islands, either if they're cheap or if you do have the wrong tool size for this. What I'm going to do is using this tacky glue from Action. Action is a Dutch chain where you can buy different household things for, yeah, less money, and also a lot of craft supplies. And I'm using specifically this glue because I know already it dries clear and stays onto these metal parts. So I'm applying some of my glue around this split rim of my eyelet, and this will have to dry for some time, of course. See? And yeah, I don't want these sharp edges here to stay on my dangles, on my charms. So I'm just, yeah, kind of like sealing the sharp edges. Adding a bit more here. Why are there so many bubbles in there? Yeah. Removing the bubbles. I guess you could also use, what's the name, glossy accents, but really this is way too expensive for this. I don't even have glossy accents because this is really expensive. So these are going to dry, and I show you on the other ones. There you can see the, yeah, glossy rim around the split leg of my eyelet there, but it's not sharp anymore. And here as well, I will have to add another layer here because, yeah, my finger still gets stuck. So since I have this out already, I'm going to be doing this right now. And I'm waiting for the Crackle medium to dry, and of course the tacky glue, and then I'll show you the result. Now my charms are not fully dried yet, so my slide frames, but yeah, you already can see the cracks on here, and as you can see, it's shiny again. This looks really nice. There. Beautiful. Let's see. This is still drying. So at the edges, it's already dried and cracked, and in the middle, it's still a bit damp and sticky. And as you can see, these are really subtle cracks. I like them. This is what I like for photographs. Let's see, this is also still work in progress. There you go. Really fine cracks. And also the glue around my eyelid are still a bit sticky. Tacky, not sticky, tacky. This still has to dry. Let's see. Here I have one where the glue is dry, so it's completely clear there. So yeah, you can't hurt yourself at these split legs anymore. Crackle paint and charms and collage medium. This was the letter C for ABC April 2025, and another part of me working on my 3-spine journal, which still hasn't got a name, but I'll find one. I'll come to this. So if you want to take part in the challenge, it's only the 3rd of April, so still you have the opportunity to take part. You don't have to upload a video or photos on Instagram on a daily basis. You just choose whatever letter you like to present and post it or upload a video. Maybe on Facebook, maybe on TikTok, maybe here on YouTube. I'll put a link to Margreth's from Sevenplaza's Ko-fi down below in the description box, so you can find the calendar. And there also is a list with some possible prompts for every letter. So if you can't find a letter or a topic, junk journal topic for the given letter on, let's say, K, just take a look at the prompt list and maybe you even get another idea. So dearies, this is my contribution for today's letter C in ABC April 2025. Thanks for watching and spending some time with me. And if you want to know what's going to happen to the 3-spine journal further, to this beauty here, then just click the subscription button and hit the notification bell, so you will be updated. Dearies, have a wonderful rest of the week, and as always, stay creative and be excellent to each other. Bye!